morning and thank you for joining us here on Up with KREM. I'm Nicole Hernandez. Well, overnight, the Vatican announced that Pope Francis has died. Our Brandon T. Jones is live in the newsroom this morning. Brandon, what do we know so far?
Yeah, good morning, Nicole. Well, the day after Easter Sunday, the Vatican announced that Pope Francis, the head of the Catholic Church, passed away at the age of 88. Pope Francis made his last public appearance yesterday on Easter Sunday. According to the AP, he emerged in St. Peter's Square to surprise thousands of people in the Pope Mobile. Before that, he met briefly with Vice President J.D. Vance. In an official statement from the Vatican, they say, quote, at 7:35 this morning, the Bishop of Rome, Francis, returned to the home of the Father. His entire life was dedicated to the service of the Lord and of his church. Pope Francis became the 266th Pope back on March 13th in 2013. He made history as the first Latin American pontiff and the first Jesuit Pope. CBS News spoke to a Cardinal in New York. He spoke on the lessons that Pope Francis left behind for the church.
He taught us that who we are is more important than what we can do. He couldn't do much. He could barely raise his hand yesterday, did you see? He could barely speak. He couldn't do much, but what he was, as a child of God, created in God's image and likeness.
Coming up in the next half hour, we'll touch more on the legacy of Pope Francis and what his death means for the Catholic Church. For now, live in the newsroom, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
Thank you, Brandon. We want to switch gears and talk about weather this morning with meteorologist Thomas Patrick. Thomas, you were mentioning that we still have some showers moving their way through, right?
Yeah, and they are just moving through North Idaho, really more in like the Silver Valley area. So if you are still looking off to the east, especially from that view in Coeur d'Alene, as you see just over my shoulder here, you will still notice a bit more cloud cover in North Idaho. But the sunshine is out. There's definitely some clearing skies that are undergoing at the moment here. And we'll start the morning off pretty nice here, and honestly our temperatures don't look too bad outside. 39 officially in Spokane. Certainly could be a whole lot colder, and it actually will be later on in the week when we do get clearer skies at night. But in terms of these showers, looks like it's still just kind of peppering the Silver Valley area or the mountains around it, and all this is thinning out pretty quickly here. It looks like there's one more little shower out towards the Pullman and Colfax areas. So again, we're not completely out of the woods just yet, but it's really just going to be more spotty and scattered showers when we get into the afternoon, not unlike what we had from this past weekend.
And taking a look at our traffic this morning, this is I-90, of course. You can see things moving pretty well. Sun is up. We've got not much traffic heading into our beginning of our work week. So if things start to change as the morning continues, we'll of course bring you updated information. But we'll check back in both traffic and weather every 30 minutes. Overnight, 2 people are in the hospital and another man is in jail after a hit-and-run crash in Adams County. Washington State Patrol says a car going north on State Route 17 crossed the center line and hit another car head-on. The driver, 19-year-old Demetrio Robles, reportedly ran away, but troopers found him and he is now charged with felony hit-and-run. Troopers say 2 other people in their 40s were hurt in the crash and went to the hospital. During that same crash, an Othello police officer was hurt while diverting traffic. WSP says the 30-year-old officer was parked in his patrol car with the lights on, and a car passing by hit the front passenger side. The officer went to the hospital, and now that 20-year-old driver is facing a negligent driving charge. And a heads up this morning for Idaho drivers as we start a new week. It is National Work Zone Awareness Week. So Idaho State Police will have more patrol cars in active work zones. There will be more ISP troopers out through Friday. They say whether you drive through these zones every day or you're just passing through once, remember, slow down, put your phone away, and give workers extra space. New this morning, Spokane city leaders have a new 5-year plan to prevent and end homelessness in the city by 2030. The plan has 5 main objectives. First, create a fair and transparent crisis response system. Second, prioritize people with the biggest barriers to housing. Third, prevent homelessness before it starts. Fourth, connect people to long-term housing that meets their needs. And lastly, support organizations that help people experiencing homelessness. Spokane City Council's Urban Experience Committee heard this plan last Monday. The full City Council is planning on talking about it on May 5th. A federal jury in eastern Washington found Luis Esquivel Bolanos guilty of trafficking hundreds of thousands of pills across eastern Washington and beyond. The Mexican national has been linked to the Jalisco cartel, trafficking drugs in Oroville, on the Colville Indian Reservation, and even across the state line in Montana.
During the trial, Mr. Esquivel Bolanos took the stand and testified, claiming that he didn't distribute drugs in eastern Washington and into Montana. I'm grateful that the jury was able to see through his testimony and hold him accountable for the massive amounts of fentanyl, methamphetamine, heroin, and cocaine that he and his colleagues were distributing in eastern Washington and elsewhere.
Officers seized more than 160,000 fentanyl-laced pills and about 80 pounds of methamphetamine during this investigation. Bolanos' sentencing is July 16th. The maximum sentence would be life in prison, or he could be deported. Right now, fire officials are working to figure out what caused a fire in Cheney. The fire spread from one house to the Eastern Washington sorority house next door. The Cheney Fire Department says the fire started around 5 at a house on 2nd Street. It was by the Cheney Police Station, and they say nobody was hurt in either home.
There was nobody in the incident house, and then we sent crews in later to the sorority house to confirm that there was nobody in there.
Cheney Fire had at least one truck stay out there last night. A Post Falls man was recently inducted into the U.S. Army Officer Candidate School Hall of Fame. Dale Wilson served in the U.S. Army from 1969 to 1991. Our news partners at the Coeur d'Alene Press say Wilson was first an infantryman overseas, then, after he was hurt, worked as a combat photographer. Since retiring, he has supported veterans at the local, state, and national level. And also out in Post Falls, a new health clinic called North Idaho Family Practice is opening in August. The owner says the new practice will help fill a need for accessible medical care. Our news partners at the Coeur d'Alene Press say the practice will accept new Medicare and Medicaid patients and most major insurances. It will be right next to River City Chiropractic off of East Polston Avenue in Post Falls. And after 33 years in the police force, the Rathdrum police chief says she is officially retiring. Chief Tommy McLean has been chief since 2016, and she was the city's first female police chief. She started her career as a reserve officer in Post Falls and Rathdrum back in 1991. During her first year with the Rathdrum Police Department, Chief McLean earned the prestigious Distinguished Service Award. Her last day as police chief will be June 5th. Earlier this month, almost 80 roosters were rescued from suspected cockfighting on the west side. Now the roosters are at Heartwood Haven in Pierce County. Workers there say most of the birds are well behaved and actually would do well with some proper care. So they're now evaluating them each for adoption.
This guy, you can kind of tell, like based on his behavior, the way he's picking stuff up and like throwing it on the ground, coming over here, trying to, that's aggression. And we don't typically see human aggression in cockfighting roosters. So these guys must have been some of them must have been really messed up in the head.
While they work to evaluate these chickens and get them adopted, Heartwood Haven says they need donations. And as of right now, we do not know if anyone is facing criminal charges for this.
At 6:09 this Monday morning after Easter, conditions are pretty stable at the moment. A few cool spots in the inland northwest, especially in the locations that you would expect. I see 29 for the current temperature in Deer Park and 30 in Colville. But it is going to get even colder by tomorrow morning when we get clearer skies 24 hours from now. But between now and then, just one more dose of some scattered and spotty showers looking likely for this afternoon. So coming up, we're going to track when that's going to be most likely for the inland northwest, and then just how cold it's going to be most everywhere across the region when we get those clearer skies by tonight.
The Circling Raven Golf Course in Kootenai County is officially Idaho's top public golf course. That's at least according to Golf Magazine. The magazine had over 100 panelists name the best golf courses in each state. So if you want to see a top-rated course, you can book a tee time on their website. And yesterday was a big day for a couple of former Spokane Indians. Zach Veen and Braxton Fulford were called up to the MLB to play for the Colorado Rockies. Veen picked up his first big league home run and stole base, while Fulford connected on his first MLB hit and home run on the same swing. And in the latest transfer portal news, former Fresno State quarterback Joshua Wood has committed to the Idaho Vandals. He appeared in all 13 games for the Bulldogs last season, including the Idaho Potato Bowl. He was expected to be one of 2 guys in competition for Fresno State's starting spot. Now he has a huge opportunity for the starting role for the Vandals. And a look at your wake-up call this morning. This is a fun one. Sunrises, sunsets, anything cool sky related, we want you to send them into our text line right now because it's Sky Awareness Week. We're learning about the sky and how some of our light pollution affects it at night and just appreciating what the sky does all day. Why it's blue, how the clouds form, all these things are things we can know and learn about our skies. Some beautiful pictures of sunrise and sunset. We've got rainbows. We've got, looks like, I don't even know what that looks like, an airplane maybe or a meteor. I don't know what that is. It's really small on the screen, so I can't really see, but it's from Dave and Kathy in Colfax. I want more information.
That's the comet.
It's the comet? Is that what it is? Okay. Okay, cool. It looks really neat. Oh, yeah, look at that. You can see some stars behind it and everything. Wow. Thanks, Dave and Kathy. That's beautiful. All right, keep texting us these photos at 509-448-2000.